Hello, everyone out there in YouTube land. This is the ambassador coming to you today. So, the subject is February 15, 2019 shutdown or martial law. But this is what will happen. We all know that February 15, 2019 is going to be a day of reckoning. The build up to this day has already been set in motion. The Democrats have stated time and time again that they will not support funding for the border wall. They have given no real reason for their stance on this very important issue that has loomed in front of us for at least the last month or so, when the Democrats took over the House of Representatives in January of this year, 2019. Personally, I am for the wall. I also am not on board with the Democrats being so staunch in their position of not even working with the president. Where has this country gone? This is not the country I grew up in. Disrespecting the president, I don't care who he is. This disrespect for the office of the president is leading this country down the tubes. When this office is disrespected, the whole country feels unsafe. So what will happen on February 15th? Is the government in jeopardy of shutting down again? Well, that's a great possibility. As a matter of fact, the president has stated that it would happen. People will be out of work again. People will panic because the need to pay their mortgages, car payments, buy food, and take care of all their other bills. In the last shutdown, which was the longest in history of this country, and many federal workers went into panic mode. Now, if martial law is induced, this will be something that many generations in this country have never experienced. What is the real reason the Democrats won't come to the table? Is it political and has nothing to do with the children at the border or the American people? Because it is political. Mr. Trump, in my opinion, is the only one demonstrating some real common sense. The borders should have been closed many years ago, where people can come in as a legal person, because wages have been driven down so significantly. So if martial law is implemented, which may be necessary in order to secure our border, this is going to give us a whole different feeling and perspective on our America. It is not going to be a good feeling, and because the Democrats won't even negotiate is absurd. This is the president, and they should be some order of respect. This martial law, oh yeah, martial law, is the government being turned into a military government, which involves the suspension of ordinary law. The military will have full control of government, of normal civilians, functions of the government. This comes about in response to such as invasion or a major disaster or occupied territory. The president is trying to stop any more of this country becoming occupied territory. What is wrong with securing our borders? But politics seem to be getting in the way. In case like this, civilian law is unable to maintain the border, and possible there will be civil unrest. There should have had something done about this years ago. This president is willing to stand with all the opposition from many sources. It is time to prepare as much as possible for what is most likely to happen. Stock up on food, water, in case we are under a curfew or instructed to stay in our homes. Prepare for any emergency as you would any disaster. Our hope and prayers are for any type of national emergency are for only a very short time. But sometimes things lead from one thing to another. Things could really get out of control with any civil unrest, which is likely to happen if this shutdown on the 15th lasts any length of time, where people get desperate and do desperate things. If the Democrats really cared about the people at the border or the American people, they would try to come to some kind of agreement with the president, who is really using common sense. It's not about the people with the Dems. I don't think that the military patrolling our streets is going to give us a feeling of contentment. We have never experienced this in recent years. I'm not sure if ever. Refusing to negotiate with the president is totally out of order, in my opinion, and many others. What have we come to? We are the only country on the planet that allows people to flood into their borders, come from other countries to have their babies so they can obtain citizenship, and not just at our southern border, but from many other countries as well, flying into the country and coming at other parts of the border. The middle class in this country is really not middle class anymore because of unacceptable wages, no health care like in the 60s, 70s, 80s, when companies gave you health care and many benefits. Those days are gone for most blue-collar workers nowadays. Our social services have been exploited by persons who do not have American citizenship status. I would like one good reason why we should not protect our borders and have people come in legally. It has been proven that walls do work. Even the scriptures in biblical days advocated for borders and walls. The scripture says in Proverbs 25:28, a man without self-control is like a city broken down without walls. Yes, they did have walls in biblical days around their city, and we need a wall around our country. Yes, even scripture tells us that walls are necessary. Breaking down the walls at the border is men with no self-control. Self-control means patience, means waiting your turn to come into this country. If the government is shut down again, there will be another panic in the nation. Tax returns could be delayed. Oh yes, people wait all year to get their tax refund checks in order to get the things they need for themselves. Oh yes, and their children. People will have to visit food pantries, unrest in the people's homes when people become, well, frightened about not being able to function as usual. But the military on our streets could cause panic as well. Businesses could be closed, children home from school. This could cause a domino effect of unpleasant events. Prepare because a grocery store may be out of food when others try and stock up. Well, this is some of what can happen and most likely will happen. So let's do some real praying so as to hopefully have this situation resolved, because a new segment stating that illegals kill 2,000 Americans per year. Now this is an article that I read. So go and check it out. So this is the ambassador coming to you again. Peace and love, and please subscribe.